looks as though the Democrats have abandoned ship on their promise to push through EFCA, the Employee Free Choice Act. EFCA would essentially make it easier for working class Americans to form unions. Once a majority of workers on a given job site signed off on union cards, they would be given union recognition under EFCA. As you can imagine, this has been met with nothing but hysteria from the business community. The Chamber of Commerce likened it to the path to Armageddon. There are numerous compromise versions of the bill being pushed by anti-union corporations like Starbucks, Costco, and Whole Foods, which would essentially render the bill meaningless. A little reminder of why the bill is important. According to the AFL-CIO, when a company is faced with a union drive, 92% of managers force their employees to attend closed-door meetings against the union. 78% require their workers to attend one-on-one meetings with their supervisor, and 75% of companies hire professional union busters. It's a thriving business, folks. 25% illegally fire at least one worker during a union campaign, which of course sends a chilling message to other potential voters for the union. This brings us to the EFCA campaign. The fight is not over, people. There is a huge campaign underway to hold Democrats to their word and to push EFCA through Congress. The campaign includes 1. Photos of workers covering numerous buildings in Washington, D.C., workers traveling to Washington, D.C. to tell their stories to the national media and Congress, moving billboards to catch people's eyes and remind them about EFCA and its importance, and good old-fashioned grassroots leafleting campaigns, call-in days, rallies, and other grassroots actions in key states, plus critical media work, research, and meetings on Capitol Hill. If any of this is important to you, check out the links in the sidebar. EFCA is important. It's not perfect. It's not a cure-all for the labor movement, but it is a huge step forward, and we need that. So check out the links. From London, we're getting some of our first pictures back from the Militant Workers Bloc at the G20 demo. Contrary to mainstream media's typical stereotyping of anarchists as violent, the demo passed completely peacefully with about 1,000 people in attendance.
Here we go! For the fight auto workers who were twisted, tricked, and robbed, to the peasant in Guatemala in a sweatshop got your job, and she can't feed her family on the pennies that she makes. Meanwhile, the crime rate's rising up and down the Great Lakes states. Like vegetables left in the field, the signatures smell rotten, and the contracts and the deeds.
Labor leaders in Guadeloupe led a 44-day general strike that completely paralyzed the island. Starting January 19th, workers revolted against the French government over the exorbitant costs of living by closing down roads, schools, gas stations, and public transportation. One activist was shot dead. Hundreds of extra police were brought in from mainland France, but the strikers held out and claimed victory earlier this month with a detailed plan to improve wages and living standards on the island. A reminder to us all that we have power where we live, where we go to school, where we work. We are powerful. A quick update on the plight of the Iraqi teachers union. The campaign is gaining ground. Their latest protest on March 28th was attracted the attention of the Iraqi media and other grassroots activists in Iraq, as well as labor leaders from around the world. It is gaining traction. They are set up. The next thing it looks like that's going to go on is that the ITU will be meeting with the Minister of Civil Society Organization, Dr. Thamer Jeffer, the man who manufactured this whole problem in the first place. So hopefully there's some progress made there, and I'll keep you up to date on that. In Iran, Workers at the Isfahan steel mill factory have begun a symbolic hunger strike to protest inappropriate working conditions, discrimination, and a wide gap in pay between the 10,000 part-time and 8,000 full-time employees, as well as a lack of job security. Actions at the plant have been ongoing. In December, 1,000 workers set up a blockade at the factory over pay. This just in. Inequality is unhealthy. In fact, inequality means you and I are going to die sooner than we need to. Inequality sucks. Today on Democracy Now!, Dr. Stephen Bezuchka, senior lecturer at the University of Washington School of Public Health, talked about the role of inequality on health. He has written extensively on the impact of society and economic inequalities on the health of a population. In the current political climate, there is a lot of talk about healthcare reform, but almost no talk about inequality. And it's something that we need to start thinking about. Here's Dr. Stephen Bezuchka.
Basically, when you ask the question, do you want health or health care, Americans think that it's health care that produces health, when there really is very little evidence for that. What turns out to be really important is the nature of caring and sharing in society. And the best factor that really impacts that is the degree of inequality. Where societies are more unequal, people don't look out for one another, they look out for themselves. Where societies are more equal, and economic equality is the thing that is most important in this, people look after each other, society looks after each other, and pretty well everyone does better. There's almost nothing that is better in a society that tolerates the extreme levels of inequality in the United States. And so we end up dying younger than people in all the other rich countries, despite spending half the world's health care bill.
There is power, there is power.